Hey, good morning. Good morning, everyone. How are you? Welcome to a brand new week. Jeremy, Team David Meltzer, thank you for telling me the sounds good. Perfect. Brooke, welcome. Let me know where you're coming in from on Monday morning. We got some cool people joining us today, like Jeremy, Alex, welcome back. E. Wood is in the house. Let's start with Erik Wood. We'll start off with his new podcast. Let's bring him on. The unbelievable ESPN analyst and Buffalo Bill Cardinal. There he is. No shortage. Look at all those footballs behind you, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, trying to get a little quarantine set up. I'm down in the basement now because our kids are home from school. We have a 4 and a 2-year-old, so my office that I'm normally operating out of is that's in the war zone upstairs.
Oh yeah, I'm the opposite. I'm upstairs in my room in a closet. So
Yeah,
put right on the dresser. I got all my football stuff somewhere in here. Got a Rose Bowl. We got everything here.
very nice.
Anyway,
Sure you
you're
got a bunch
launching
of good
a new
memorabilia.
podcast.
Yeah. So I launched a podcast called "What's Next" with Erik Wood, and it's been a ton of fun. And through this time of the coronavirus, I've been able to dedicate more time to it instead of doing 3 broadcasts in a row for Network and ESPN for spring games. Those are all canceled. So I've kind of utilized this time to just put out some positive content that can hopefully impact people through this time and lift their spirits. And whether it's sports or someone like John Gordon, who just wants to lift people's spirits, just providing some content to help people through this time.
Oh yeah, man! I can't wait for. I'm going to go on there. I'm going to lift
Absolutely.
the spirits, little mindset action. But I wanted to have you on for that very reason. You know, you've obviously transitioned from on the field to off the field, and that's an indicator of a great mindset. And taking, a lot of people don't understand, and you can attest to it. The first death of your life occurs. I don't care if you stop playing in high school, college, or pro. When that game ends for you in football, especially, it's a death. And you got to have a tough mindset to restart and utilize the skills, the knowledge, the desire that you had on the field. And sometimes, I found some people find it a lot easier off the field than they did on the field. Where do you fall in that spectrum?
For me, especially initially, it was way easier for me playing ball. I played 9 years in the NFL, and it was a dream come true. But when my career ended, I did not anticipate it whatsoever. I had just signed a contract extension before the season. I had more job security than anyone on the team. The Bills finally make the playoffs. The first time in 17 years, I'm the only player on the team to play 100% of the snaps. And at an exit physical, I find out that I have a career-ending neck injury. And so my world was just shattered because I didn't plan for it at all. And I always warn guys about, and I'm sure, David, you've talked to many pro athletes before, when you start worrying a little too much what's going to happen after you're done playing, it's going to come a lot sooner than if you would have just tried to master your craft while you're playing ball. But I truly didn't anticipate it whatsoever. So it rocked my world, and I missed that routine. I missed waking up every day knowing exactly what my mission was in life, to be the best center in the NFL and be the best teammate and leader for the Bills. And I had other goals as well, but my professional goals were all centered around football. And when you transition out, you have to shift those, and you have to find things that pique your interest, and you need to try and find what your new purpose is going to be. But for me, that was age 31, 32. A lot of people are getting out of college at 22, 23, and they're 10 years ahead of me. So now I'm trying to catch people, and that's where you got to be careful, especially as a former athlete. You hop into someone else's world. You go hop in the real estate world and say, I'm going to go beat these guys. Well, you better be careful unless you got a good team around you.
Yeah, and you know what I found too, working with so many athletes is that those real estate guys, those lawyers, those investment bankers, the sales guys, the equity, the VCs, imagine me stepping on the football field and I played Division III ball till I was 22, but the subtleties, right?
Right.
And that's why rookies can come up. You can have these unbelievable, nose tackles that were all everything for Alabama. And you can take them to school because exactly those subtle nuances that mean something as you go along. And they don't know what's going on. They're like, how come I can't beat Erik? He's slower than me. He's older than me. How come I can't beat him? The same thing happens off the field, right? And these guys, and I see it all the time because people ask me to do things for them. I'm like, you don't want me to do that for you. Don't ask anyone to do that for you. They're going to take advantage of you. You
Right.
don't know what you don't know. And it's true on the field. You see it all the time, guys that don't know what they don't know, linebackers. And I know you're chuckling in the huddle with the other, because offensive lines, they have great legacy, right? You guys play
Right.
a long time together. It's not like, guys come in and out at running back all the time, but the line, they can laugh at the new defense because they don't know what they're doing. Speaking of which, too, moving into the business side of things, what advice do you give to, athletes transitioning out, or even people transitioning out of COVID, because it's the exact same start over. There's a whole new playing field and new rules.
Absolutely. And I'm finding so many parallels for people from the way my career ended and what's happening to them with COVID now, because they didn't anticipate it coming. It's rocked their world. It's making them pivot completely into some new direction. And my advice to those people is during this time, make yourself better. Find ways to gain a skill. There's so much online training that's being given for free right now. You can tap in to Instagram live sessions with this. I've seen other videos you've put out, and there's a number of people like yourself where you can gain a lot of knowledge through this really tough time. But you got to have goals, and you got to be constantly trying to grow in your mindset, in your performance, no matter what that is. And man, I'm affected by this in the broadcast community, and all the sports world is, but man, I have so much sympathy for people that own small businesses, and I own a gym myself as well, which we're shut down, and gyms don't operate, private gyms and training facilities don't operate on huge margins, as you know. So, but people that are losing family businesses, and then healthcare workers who are just getting thrust into the saddle right now. And generally, that's our military. Anytime we have a crisis, it's generally our military. Now it's our healthcare workers that are at the front lines of this. So much respect for them and so much sympathy for what them and all their families are going through. But try and make the most of this time, and try and take this time as a chance to pass other people up. And as a former athlete, I'm always looking for a competitive advantage. In college, I would stay at the University of Louisville during the month of May, even though we weren't allowed to take classes and you didn't get a scholarship check. I would stay there and train because I always thought that I'm going to get 1/12 better. I'm going to get a full extra month every year. If I do that for 4 years, that's almost 35% better. Well, that was my mindset then. Well, this is almost like that time. It's a shutdown time. Well, what are you doing personally to advance yourself career-wise, relationally, health and nutrition-wise, to really utilize this time for something good? Because this is real time of your life. Like you do not get this back.
I love that, man. That you're a math guy like me. I always talk about incremental segmentation, and I do a free training every Friday. I've been doing it for years in person. The whole community comes, and now I never thought about putting it online, and now thousands of people come every Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific time, and it's turned into a blessing because I get so many great questions. I pick different issues. I think I call it the road to revenue, happiness, and revenue. But one of the other things, let's switch to football for a second, because the most common question about the NFL, the most popular sport here in America, 2-1, is how are we going to deal with no mass gatherings for the fall? And, obviously the content is terrific. And the most interesting question I get is, will it affect the players if they play without fans or with a limited, sparse amount of fans, will it affect the players? I'd love to get your opinion or perspective on, one, what you think is going to happen come the beginning of the season, and then two, if they have a kind of scaled back live version of it. Obviously it won't be scaled back on TV and media, but the scaled back live, how will it affect the players?
Yeah, so that's a great question, and I've been instructed by the high ups at ESPN and other people I work for to not speculate on timeframes because we truly don't know.
Yeah.
Now, they're trying to prepare for every single scenario, which they're endless. What if the broadcasters can't get on planes? What if we need to drive? What if all three sports are going? We don't have production crews and broadcasters, but now we're operating in the red because there's no sports for so long. But now we're just going to hire a bunch of new people, it's a crazy time, and so I truly don't know what it's going to look like. I do know that even if they do allow people to come back to the stadiums, well, now can people afford these really expensive tickets in these beautiful new stadiums? Are this is this population, this fan base affected to where they don't want to come around? It's going to be so many factors, and if they truly do play without fans, it's going to benefit the self-motivated players. I'll tell you that, because a lot of people, kind of drag through the week, but man, you walk out of that tunnel and there's 70,000 people yelling and screaming. Well, your adrenaline gets up. Without that, it's almost going to feel like an inter squad scrimmage or a joint practice per se. And then there's real chips on the line with real games counting, but the self-motivated players, the guys that can focus in for 60 minutes a game clock, will have the true advantage. And I've played in dead stadiums. I've played in meaningless games in Buffalo, in December where it's cold and snowy, or even worse, rainy. And the game doesn't matter for either team as far as playoff implications. Man, those sometimes are games where, like, if you're a self-motivated player, you can really go put on a show, and you're building for your next contract highlight film during those games.
Yeah, it's amazing. There are some guys that it doesn't matter if 1 person or 1 million people are watching, right? You can see them when they do stuff off the field over the years. They can play with their kids, and they get a little bit too. It's just born in them. Once it's game time, no matter where it is, 3-on-3 basketball. I've seen the best athletes in the world almost get hurt. We have to tell them, hey man, slow down. You get paid to do this. This is just for free. We used to do. Remember the old flag football, the beach bowl games with DirecTV? Yeah. And, all the different guys playing, you're like, whoa. This is sand beach flag football. You don't want to lose your career on here. And, you can see it in the Pro Bowl as well, which you've been in. It's changed over the years from tackle to almost tag. So one last thing. What's the biggest lesson? You launched this great new podcast, which I will come on, by the way, because I want to share these ideas on that. That'd be awesome. But, I have found my favorite thing about doing these things and podcasts is I've learned so many lessons. I feel like Napoleon Hill. You know what I mean? Like, I'm getting all the secret sauce from everybody, and also building relationships. Like, you and I would never have this opportunity, and now it's like, boom, instant bond. All right, he's my boy. I'll get to see him in person someday. What's the biggest lesson you've learned so far?
Man, that honestly the same thing. I enjoy talking. I enjoy the conversation. That's lost these days. One of my favorite things with doing the podcast is I get 40 minutes to an hour with someone where I'm directing the conversation. If I took you to lunch, we're going to have a two-way conversation. Well, when I'm coming on your Instagram live right now, you get to pull the information from me that you want. You're setting up all the questions. Well, when I get 40 minutes or 60 minutes with someone that I respect tremendously and I can learn from, like, man, that is gold. And so now I'm getting all my podcasts transcribed, and we're going to find common themes for blog posts. And man, the value that's going to have on my life. And I always figure if it benefits me, then I'm sure someone else can benefit from it somewhere else. And so I've learned so much, like you said, made so many great relationships, so many connections with people. And then it's amazing the amount of texts and emails I've got from people I either know or don't know. People reach out on social media and say, man, this hit me this day. And this really helped me, or this book someone recommended, or this morning ritual, or whatever it may be, really affected them. And, I've kind of been riding on this Jackie Robinson quote lately, in a life is not lived except for in the impact that you make on others. And any advice I would give to anyone transitioning out of pro sports, transitioning business, if you put all the pressure on yourself and you make it all about you and how am I going to get better and what can I be doing and I need to climb the ladder, you're going to feel anxiety, you're going to feel pain, you're going to feel depression, whatever it may be. You start getting others oriented and focusing on others, it's amazing the fulfillment you in turn will have.
Yeah, absolutely. Elevate others to elevate yourself. What's next with Erik Woods? Remember, I got your answer for the ESPN. I deal with so many guys from ESPN. So when they ask you about timing, because you're not supposed to, prognosticate or whatever they call it,
right?
Just always say, we're not going to know anything stable until after we have a vaccine. Because that's true. We won't have any stability until we have a vaccine. So everything else is just a guess. So no reason to guess. It's a good answer for you.
That is
And
a good answer. Yeah, I always just play the, I'll wait and see, and hopefully we're back this fall because, America needs football. We need, it's like you said, 2-1, the most popular sport in America. Sports are such a big part of this country. A fall without football would be awful.
yeah, men and women, by the way. I always like to point that out. I got 3 daughters, and unfortunately, they're even bigger Charger fans than me. And now we got the Buffalo Bills quarterback, so we'll see how that goes.
Oh, awesome! My 4-year-old daughter, she knows to boo the Patriots anytime they're on. My 2-year-old boy can spot a Buffalo Bills logo from anywhere. They're ingrained in football already.
That is, they should be. It is my heart and soul. I mean, I obviously love all sports, but having you on, man, I love seeing real human beings. I look forward to doing more with you, E. If I can do anything to help you, let me know. I look forward to coming on. What's up? It's What's Next with Erik Woods. Check it out. I see a whole bunch of comments. Everybody loves it. They're going to it right now. So thanks for joining me.
Yeah, my pleasure, David. Looking forward to connecting further. Thanks.
You got it, brother. Take care. The great Erik Wood. What a great person. You can see. He says one of my favorite quotes, right? Elevate others to elevate yourself. He wants to have an impact and help everyone else. Don't take Bill Gates' vaccine. I'm not taking any vaccines, man. Joy of color, go pack. All right, let's answer some questions. I know we got some great people coming on lately, and I want to thank them all. Let me know where you're coming from. Joe, hopefully we got those answers for you. Alex, yes, thank you so much. Let's see here. How to make billionaire mindset. Well, first of all, you got to believe, right? You got to believe, and you got to be able to connect the dots backwards. You can't just say, it's great to say I'm a billionaire, but go ahead, look out and see and follow it all the way back to the incremental things you can enjoy every day, enjoying the consistent, persistent pursuit of your potential, right? So here's the skills I have to develop to be a billionaire. Here's the knowledge that I have to get, and I must be what I can be, a billionaire. And so all 3 of those components have to be looked at and followed in order to effectuate it. So many people, they attach their happiness to an outcome and they talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk by enjoying it consistently and persistently in the pursuit of their potential. So make sure you're focusing on the skills, the knowledge, and then inspired desire. Inspired desire is the ability to stay in that enjoyment and clear the connection to that most powerful light of love and lessons that we are connected to and so aware of right now as we're in, this new state of awareness. I don't like to call it a pause. I think it's a new state of awareness. Welcome, Nigeria, Virginia. Welcome, everybody. I really appreciate it. Looking to see here. Let's see if we get another question real quick. Let me know. D. Brown is in motivational quotes. I like that. All righty. Let's see here. Somebody give me a question up here in the house. We're looking good. All right, let's go. Next, it looks like D. Brown's coming on. My favorite Boston Celtic. Here we got questions coming in. Thank you so much. What is your best advice for someone that is going to give a motivational speech? All right. Let me give you guys secret sauce in motivational speeches. Motivational speeches, the secret sauce is lessons and stories that are true to you. That means they resonate to you. You can go ahead and use other people's stories. But the lessons are the ones that are your frequency, your powerful signal, your spectrum, and your clear message of the lessons. So if you want to be a motivational speaker, you have to find in your soul your lessons. What have you learned on your journey? Whether you're 5, 10, 25, 35, 55, 85, it doesn't matter. What are those lessons for you? And then tell the best stories that you can. They don't all have to be true. They can be mixed and matched and switched and swatched, but they have to be your lesson. They have to resonate. That's your frequency. People love to learn through stories. And so true motivation. Now, inspiration is different than motivation. Inspirational stories will get you there. They have to be more pragmatic in nature. They still have lessons, but the stories have to have actual advice in them, right? Motivation can just be a story. Motivation gets you going, gets you up in the morning, gets you to go, right? Get you moving. Like Einstein says, nothing happens till it moves. It gets you moving. Inspiration will get you there. Inspiration will be the enjoyment of the consistent, everyday, persistent, without quit pursuit of your potential. But motivation will get you to the place to get going. So if you're sitting there unmotivated, you may not be productive, accessible, or gracious for everything in your life. You then can move by utilizing that. So make sure you understand, one, the difference between being a motivational speaker, which is fine, lessons and stories, or an inspirational speaker, which is lessons and stories that actually have advice, pragmatic advice, step to step to get you there. I like to play in both arenas. Majority of the time, I like to be an inspirational speaker. I like to leverage the 35 years of experience, all the dummy tax that I've paid so that people don't have to pay the dummy tax that I've paid to allow us to share that. Let's grab another question real quick. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. How to remain relentless? Great question. Persistent. There he is. D. Brown's in the house. We remain relentless by enjoying it, right? By smiling through the struggle. So to remain relentless is to have the powerful perspective to find the light, the love, and the lessons in everything that we do. And we'll get there going here. Trying to grab the great D. Brown is in the house. Here we go. And all righty. The OG on the back end of D. Brown outside. What's going on, man?
What's up, David? What's going on, brother?
I miss you. I think the last time I saw you was outside of Staples Center, and I think it's been empty ever since.
Yeah, that's true, man. It's been a lot different the last time I did see you, so, and met with you. But listen, it's been tough for everybody, and we're trying to get through it, and I think we will. Turning the curve, with all the information that you're hearing and things like that. But it's still about being safe, being cautious, staying at home, supporting each other, supporting your family, and whoever needs help out there, from the healthcare workers on the front line, people in the grocery stores. You do as much as you can to support them, because you hear it all the time, how athletes are heroes. Those people are the real heroes right now.
Yeah, it's even like I watch my postman and he comes up, I'm thinking, this guy is a hero. Like, he's walking up, holding everybody's mail, everybody's house, not complaining, supporting his family and our community, because that information, even the traditional, we're a little bit older,
Right.
My mail is still important to me. It's not just email, right? It's still important to get stuff. And
Right.
I think you guys can make sure you're grateful.
Yeah, I mean, listen, like everybody, I'm sure Amazon and Instacart has been everybody's best friend. So you're trusting people delivering things to you, risking their health, making sure it gets there on time, make sure it's been sanitized, whatever protocols they do to make sure it gets there safe. And we take that for granted. Before all this happened, you get mad if your package is one day late. Now you're happy if the person that's delivering it is safe as well. So there's a lot of factors in your mind that goes along with now receiving a package or a piece of mail that is not just about yourself. It's about the person that gets it from A to B, that we got to take into consideration moving forward now.
You have, as a VP of player development with the Clippers, obviously the GM of the G League team, your whole job is to help people develop. And I think that this period of time, sitting in the same position of you, trying to inspire and motivate, we're development people. We're here to help people develop skills, acquire knowledge, and most importantly, maintain that, I always say, must be what you can be attitude. And you did that through your playing career. But the thing I respect most, because I wasn't a big Celtic fan, the thing I respect most is what you did after you played for the Celtics to help so many people develop and elevate. Erik Wood just previously, we talked about elevating others to elevate yourself. You have helped so many people. What are some of the pieces of advice that you're giving these young men right now to help them develop and utilize this time wisely to get better?
Well, I think the biggest thing is right now you have to find a real direct connection to yourself and what motivates you and what drives you. Is it fans? Is it likes on your social media and things like that? Things I've been checking our guys with. I told you before, my job is to get my title, but I look at myself as a mentor of men. That's what I do. I mentor men to help them grow to be better men, not when they're done. When they're playing, but when they're done playing. So right now, it's been a forced retirement for everybody. I mean, think about it. Everybody's been forced to retire. Now, what do you do next? Guys, we challenge them. We send them books to read. start more meditation, just, you know, spending more time with your family and get involved with their lives and see what they do every day. When you're on the road playing basketball or you're in practice, there's a background group of people holding the fort down while you're doing your job, and their job is important. So you get a chance to see that. So things I've been challenging these guys with is just stay focused, obviously be safe and do things that, you know, you're supposed to be doing to stay healthy. But engage yourself in activities that doesn't have to do with the physical part of basketball. Read, listen, go outside, take walks, take with people that can obviously guide you, or give you information to help you become a better man, a father, a husband, a sibling, and think outside. You know, we use the term a lot, think outside of the box. And what I mean by think outside the box, I mean life after basketball has happened for these guys like right now, because again, basketball is not available for them. What's your next step? Like, what's your next, you know, hustle? You know, I use the word hustle. But what's your next hustle? You know, if the uniform is off and you're not playing basketball, what is your value to the community? What's your value to your family? What's your value to your friends? Find out what that is, and now start maximizing that, not because of a financial amount, because of a worth and value amount that I think you bring to the community. So a lot of these guys that I talk to, you know, weekly, I go, you know, what have you got? What have you done to get better today? And I'm not talking about shooting jumpers anymore, because you're not in the gym. I'm not talking about how fast you can run a sprint. What have you done to better yourself today to give to your son, your daughter, your mom, your dad, a close friend, a loved one that's maybe sick, a older person, a nursing home, whatever they can't, that you know, they don't get a chance to see their family. Like, you know, now think about not yourself, but think about other people that you can help in these opportunities by helping yourself become more educated.
That's awesome. Last question real quickly. You kind of subscribe to the Meltzer go-go routine. We move pretty fast, take on a lot during the day, and this has forced, you know, guys like us to take a reflection on, you know, especially our families. What's the one thing you've learned now that you've been forced to take a pause for a second and say, you know what, I could be a better blank. What can you be better at?
I could be better at not thinking about tomorrow, and trying to. There's nothing wrong with preparation, so I always prepare for the next day or the next challenge or the next thing. I've got to be more present, like present in the moment. Nothing's promised tomorrow. Yesterday's yesterday. You learn from your mistakes or your achievements from the day before. The thing I've learned is that I have to be present. Like, I have to be where I'm at and enjoy that moment, enjoy my kids, enjoy my wife, enjoy all that stuff. Because we're both of us, we're both in a fast-paced environment when we do work, that we kind of forget the things, the foundational pieces of how we got here. And to me, take away the pandemic, all the deaths, which are really, really bad, you know, for me to slow down a little bit and kind of like take a deep breath and go, okay, wait a minute. Like, you know, what's my negotiables and non-negotiables in my life, right? You know, my non-negotiables is my family, faith, and unconditional love. That's non-negotiable. I've figured that out by being still, by being present. Now, what's my negotiables? Fame, money, success. Like, that stuff can be taken away. As you can see, that's happened to a lot of people. Like, you know, there's so many people that are famous. They're not famous anymore because there's no platform for them to be that way. So if your non-negotiables don't ever change, no matter if it's a sunny day and it's beautiful outside like it is where I'm at here in Georgia, or if it's a rainy, stormy hurricane come through, those things will be in your core. That'll be in your conscious. That's your DNA. And I've learned that, you know what, slow down, be present, enjoy the beautiful things in the world that we kind of just push aside, and really value people. Like, really value people, what they do and what they bring to the table. Not what they do for you, but what you can do for them to enhance their lives.
That's amazing, man. I'm going to enhance that. You probably see that in my next book, the negotiables and the non-negotiables. Only one I'd add is your health. My health is non-negotiable along with that. And I've taken the same inventory of my personal experiential giving and receiving values. Incredible, man. D. Brown, I I am so grateful that you joined me. Thank you for your great advice. I look forward to helping the team, helping you however I can. Thank you so much.
David, thank you for everything you do. You're the best.
Awesome. I'll see you soon. Stay
All right,
healthy and happy.
all right.
All right. We got great advice there. Negotiable and non-negotiable list. Everyone should be the chief betterment officer of their own life and taking inventory of your personal, experiential giving and receiving value. Thank you, D. Brown. I'm becoming more and more of a Clipper fan because of that guy. We're going to send all of my books to the team as well. If they're reading, might as well give them some Meltzerisms in there. Join me Friday, speaking of Meltzerisms, for free, helping the community. Join me Friday, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern time, free training. I don't sell anything, so there's no monster at the end of the book. It's just like Sesame Street. It'll just be me, lovable, cuddly Grover, waiting for you. Looks like we got our next guest, Billy Herschel, the incredible golfer. And I think he's working with Beam now, the CBD company. Gotta love, there he is. What's going on, Billy?
Hey, David, how you doing, buddy?
Good. Well, you are one lucky man because you actually get to practice your sport still.
I do. I'm very lucky that where I live, the virus hasn't been too bad, and the course has been open the entire time.
But you also, we were just on with D. Brown. He's talking about find your hustle. I think you're working with Beam CBD as well, right?
I am. I joined as an investor beginning this year. I looked into CBD this all of 19, and we were able to find Beam with founders Kevin and Matt. And I believe so much in the product that instead of just a regular partnership or sponsorship, I was like, guys, I want to invest in this company. I think what you guys got is unbelievable. I think you guys are going at it the right way, and they have a lot of support behind them with other investors that are very, very influent people. So I was like, hey, I want to join the bandwagon as well.
It's so funny because I have dealt with athletes like you for so many years, and so many people hit me up and they're like, oh, can you introduce me to Billy? And I'm like, look, start by allowing people to learn about your company, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just as incremental in people learning as it is in selling. And, all the athletes I know that have invested in companies, they've learned about the company. They weren't just sold the company and asked to invest. They actually were just asked to try the product or, see how it works for them. And then they see how it's built, who the leaders are, who the other investors are. And then they're chasing usually me or other companies because it's a good deal. I know we're doing a deal with Drew Brees, and it was the same way. He was just a customer, right? Mm-hmm. And as he kept coming in and out, he kind of reached out to us saying, hey, is there any way I can get involved as an ambassador to the company? And then now it's when he found out who's involved, wants to invest. Now, I'm a huge fan of CBD. I think I'm a student of history, why CBD and hemp have not been used before. It's an economic, political decision of our country, but the effects and the benefits are just extraordinary. I don't think we even know how much it does in the positive direction, especially CBD. What are some of, for being, the best attributes that you found why you wanted to invest?
Yeah, for me, the thing that got me so interested after learning about the company, learning about how they test the product and they test it 3 times and for THC by private companies. So it's very rigorously tested. And I've said to them, I think you guys have the cleanest product, the way they test and how rigorously they are in testing and having it done by private companies. So it's not internal. But what got me so hyped about the company was they have a product called Dream. As much as I travel going from different time zones to different hotels, different beds to different AC and everything, I've learned that I don't sleep very well. And I think it all started with wearing the Whoop app. And I realized my body doesn't recover very well. And so I was looking at, hey, how can I get my body to recover better? Obviously, I need to sleep better, but I don't sleep very well because maybe the bed's not as comfortable or the pillows aren't right or the AC is not cold enough, whatever it may be. And then obviously this is when we were talking with Beam. They sent me Dream. I tried it, and the great thing about having the Whoop app is I could actually see actual data from before I had it to after I had it and how well I was sleeping, how much more I was sleeping, how much more I was in my deep sleep to REM. And my body was recovering better. At the same time, I saw my personality when I had that sleep be, obviously I'm an optimistic and positive person and I'm joyful, but there's times where you just don't sleep well and you're crabby. It happens. And so I saw there was less crabby Billy than that I wanted. I was more excited, joyful, treated the people around me better. So it was just a great start to that. And then you learn more about their other products. From my wife takes Clarity every morning. It's just a great product to really get the mind working and focus on, get the brain functioning and focus on what, allows you to focus on what you want to accomplish that day. And they have so many other great products, from the Fixer to the Boost. So the thing that started with me, though, was the dream. And then I learned more about the other products. And I've seen the benefit of using other products.
That's amazing. I always give people advice when they ask about mentorship, and mentorship is so critical in golf. I always use so many analogies to golf in life, as you know, since you spent so many hours and days and years doing it. But sleep is one of the things that you should have a coach at, or at least have a strategy. I tell people, study your sleep as much as the things you have planned, as much as the things you don't have planned. Other people have come in here, the best 3 pieces of advice, real simple. They're like, sleep 8 hours, drink a gallon of water, and say thank you. 3 easy ways to change your life. All these simple ways. But it's really interesting because CBD went through, sleep is a third of your life. It's the number one habit that we share. And I think when people start sleeping right, and this was true for me, I have a sleep coach because I travel 200 days a year, is when you start, you don't even realize how much interference you've created in your life because you don't sleep well. And especially in golf, because as much as they have the Clarity product for focus, balance, in golf, I think great golfers as a skill, their greatest skill is focus, because, every great golfer like yourself has shot a 59 or a 60 at one time. So that means mathematically you could do it every time.
Yeah.
Right? If you had that perfect swing. And the guys who are more consistent, well, that's a matter of focus. And I'm sure you can tell 1,000 stories in your career about how something distracted you. And even, I use Tiger Woods as the best example, because when he was at the top of his focus game, the only time he ever missed a cut was when his dad died.
Yep.
Right? And so if that doesn't prove to you that you're focused, right? And because that's a significant event for Tiger, that was the only time. And then, of course, the other distractions happened in his life and got him off focus as well. And then, of course, I always say physical, mental, emotional, spiritual pain is a reflection that you have a lesson to learn. And then the physical manifestations, do you see that continuum of, and I'm saying for the product with Beam has, this stuff from sleep to focus, if you're not sleeping right, if you're not focused correctly in your life, if you're not happy, with your attitude, it will manifest in physical, emotional, spiritual, all these different pains. And if you're a professional golfer, it could be the end of your career.
You're exactly right. I mean, I've always told, like I said, I'm a very optimistic, positive person. I'm very happy-go-lucky, and the days I'm not, it does affect my game. I have my fuse is a lot shorter, and I like to have the longest fuse I can possibly have, especially in the game of golf, because you just never know when you're gonna get in a tough situation. And you're gonna need some of that fuse to help you get through that tough moment. I think the thing that's so amazing about Tiger is that going back to the sleep, is he doesn't sleep very well, and he's come out and talked about that. And at the same time, it's for so long it was a badge of honor to say, hey, I only slept 4 hours and I'm able to get through the day no problem, and look what I've done. But it catches up to you. And I think, Tiger not sleeping well it's just a testament to who he is. And I think it goes back to how he grew up with his mom. And I think he grew up in with the Buddhist religion and learning that way a little bit. So that goes to his mentality and his focus. And not everyone's like that, but like I said, the more you can sleep, the better off you have a chance of being successful when you wake up. You have a lot more energy, you have a lot more focus, you have a lot more determination. I feel like you're just in a better spot, to handle whatever's thrown at you. And that's what I've always known it, and I'm hard-headed, and I'm happy I'm learning it now instead of when I'm 20 more years down the road. But I've seen it, and talking with Rory McIlroy, he's talked about it too. Same thing. He thought it was a badge of honor to say, hey, I only got 5 hours of sleep last night. And now everyone's goal, it seems like, is to get at least 8 hours of sleep. And they talk about the benefit it's helped them in training, to focus on the golf course and being more focused in practice, which is huge, because if you can't focus in practice, you can't correlate that into your round the golf, which is what we do.
Yeah, it's amazing. You're a ferocious Buddha like me. It's a blend and a combination and reconciliation. It's interesting though. You said you had a short fuse, which I had, and I had to exercise that patience because I actually use Beam as well, and I had to use that patience. Wait till you get a little older. I have 3 teenage daughters, and when they start talking about their boyfriends, you got to literally find your Buddhist Zen. I needed Phil Jackson sitting at the table with me, and everyone's looking at me. They're talking about boyfriends. I'm like, I do not want to be here. This is worse. And then, you know, in golf, I always say the short fuse, it's the lineage effect of if you have a short fuse with your wife, then that's going to ruin your whole golf game. Anyone that, I don't care if you're an amateur or a pro, anyone will tell you, you know, when you're playing golf and you see your wife's number come up on, you can't answer if you're playing well. There's no way. And having a short fuse does help. All right, last thing, you know, obviously this pause is different for everyone, and I'd really like, from someone who has such a great perspective, best piece of advice that you have during this period of time for people.
You know, it's tough. Everyone's different. I've got 3 kids. I've got a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 1-year-old, 2 girls and a boy. So it's been trying, because it's trying to entertain them throughout the day. What do we do? Everything's closed. So it's been a challenge for my wife and I. Just trying to keep the kids entertained, and it's just the kids fight and everything. But I've been saying this to people. I think it's been challenging for everyone in different ways. Everyone's different in the situation. But I truly think when we're through with this, you're going to look back at this time and be like, wow, this was a really special time. I know there's a lot of tragedy going on in the world, but for me to be able to spend, you know, I've been home for 8 weeks now with my kids. It'll be another, I think I'm on 5 weeks. So I'll be home for, what is that, close to 4 months, a little over 4 months with my family, which I've never done in my life. I've never been with my family for more than 4 weeks at a time. So I'll look back on this time and be like, wow, this, even though it was a challenging, you know, it was, patience was tested, and we were disciplining the kids, and it just seemed like a crazy atmosphere. We will look back like, man, this was actually a really enjoyable time to be able to spend this time with your family. And I think, to me, when you come out of this, and if they could do this now, take 1 or 2 things, you know, write it down on a list what you're thankful for right now. And when you come out of this, go back to it and say, hey, this is why I love this time. So it's more or less figuring out why this time is going to be special for you, instead of looking at it as a downer. You can take something positive out of every situation. It's just the way you look at it and what window you're looking at it from.
That is awesome. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time with me. Where can people find Beam, by the way?
Yeah, they can go to beamtlc.com. We do some little pop-up stores around the country, but obviously everything's shut down right now. But go online, you can order it. The product's great, and reach out to us, and we'll be helpful to, you know, give anybody advice. I've already had a lot of people reach out to me about what products to try. Is it safe for them to work? Yeah, obviously athletes use it, but anyone in the workforce, it'll be very helpful for them. And like I said, if you have drug tests, you're not going to fail. It's that safe.
That is awesome. Well, I look forward, when this is all over, to letting you beat me in a round of golf. So thanks for
Perfect. Let's do it. Thanks, David.
Thanks, man.
See ya.
Take care. Great. Billy Horschel, great golfer, great man, and a great entrepreneur. Great lesson on how to get athletes and celebrities involved with your company. You got to walk the walk and have the frequency. You got to provide the value. Let them come to you. Don't chase, right? Expose them, allow them to learn. And if you have what it takes and have something interesting, they'll move forward. They want to make money, help people, and have fun. And that's what Beam is doing. BeamTLC.com. Check them out. Let's take one more question, and then we're going to get on with our week. We have office hours. A lot of people that have questions. Office hours, 3 o'clock every day. Just join me. You can go ahead and reach out to me, 949-298-2905, or email me at david@dmeltzer.com. Friday training coming on. It's this Friday, 11 a.m. Pacific time. We are really looking forward to it. And welcome, everybody. Let's get one more question real quick. I apologize. How to make a dream come true. The law of Goya and the law of attraction will allow your dreams to come true. What does that mean? Know your what. In order for a dream to come true, you got to know what your dream is, and it automatically is a mathematical advantage. When you know what your dream is, it's a mathematical advantage. It becomes a possibility. And then if you have the inventory of your values, personal, experiential, giving and receiving, if you get clarity, balance, and focus, balance of those values, focus in on them, just like Billy said, and get confident, you then will move into the land from motivation of possibility to the land of inspiration of probability. Another mathematical advantage. From motivation to inspiration, it's a mathematical advantage from possible to probable. Then utilizing the ask and attract ability to have a strategy, discipline of enjoying the consistent, persistent pursuit of your potential, elevating your frequency and awareness to raise that up so you can be more aware to make everything simple. Strategy, discipline, awareness, that probability becomes what? Your dream come true, your perspective or your reality. This is David Meltzer. Enjoy this week. Come join me 3 o'clock every day for office hours, 8 a.m. on Instagram Live. Free trainings. Everything's free. Consider me Grover. Go check out that book from Sesame Street. You'll get the point. I am the monster at the end of the book. There's nothing, no sales, nothing asking. We just want to teach and invite you to elevate others, to elevate others. My main mission in life is to empower others, to be happy, the greatest virus of all time. It spreads just by witnessing it, and it strengthens your immune system. Be kind to your future self. Do good deeds.